Welcome back, friends, to the part 3 of this tutorial series wherein we are creating a clone of the Tinder homepage. We've already worked on the HTML portion in the previous video, and this time we'll be working on the CSS. Okay, so without wasting any further time, let me open my IDE. This is where I left it in the previous part. And I just realized that we did not add anything in the login component. It's still blank. Okay, let me quickly copy the content from my notes. So this is pretty simple. I have a div here, okay, giving some classes, and then this logo small icon here, the small fiery icon. We have a H2 text here that says create account, then we have the policy disclaimer, and then the bottom section. So the bottom section is actually this one. Let me show you. Click this, you get this login button and more options and everything. But what I did, I took a snapshot of this and used it as a image here. Okay, to save some time, but you can go ahead and create this button on your own and use its click attach a click listener to it and use the authentication functionality if you want, or create some methods there. Okay, but I'm not going to do that in this part. It's up to you to explore more and practice more of HTML and CSS. Okay, so let's go back. Okay, so here for the login component, the only styling that I would need is this. So I'm giving the sign up the parent here a display of flex and setting the direction to column, so they'll stack on top of each other and everything will align to center and justify the content to center. And for this U is this underline. Okay, this is a HTML tag. So for this I'm giving them a cursor of pointer so that you will feel like you're hovering over an anchor tag. Okay, but those are not actually an anchor tag. So I can go here, close it. I don't need I don't need this either. I will go to app component.scss where we have this. Close this. I have the container.custom styling. So the next thing that we need to target is our, so if I could open the HTML and split it vertically, yeah, there we go. And let me do a soft wrap. Okay, perfect. So if I go scroll up, so I'll start with the top header here. So let's target top header and the default, because we have two top headers. So I'll be using SCSS so I can nest things, because if you don't like SCSS, you want to use CSS, definitely go ahead and feel free to do that. Okay, but you should know how to target elements using CSS, basic CSS, that's it. So first property, I'll set the display to flex and I'll justify the content to space between. It'll throw them to the ends. So if I save and go back, you'll see these two are my flex items. So, and since I used that space between, so this one is at the end, left end, and this one is at the right end. Okay. And next thing, I think I should be using box sizing also. I quickly go to my style sheet and target everything and give them a box sizing of border box. Save changes, go back here. Okay. Next thing is align items. Vertically align items center, and I want the height of the container, the top header container should be 10 vertical height units. Width will be 100%, and I'll give it a padding of 0 top and bottom and 20 pixels left and right. Okay, save the changes, go back to the browser. This is how it looks. It looks pretty bad still, but we will come to that point gradually. Now inside this I have, inside default I have the top header left, so I'll target that, top header left, and inside that I have the image. So the image height I want is 35 pixels and margin left of 50 pixels. I'll also give a margin left here to the container itself of 20 pixels. Save the changes. Now it looks good. Okay, it's almost at the same place like the actual the original version. Now it's the time to target the right element. So go down here, put a comment, header right. It's good to comment things so that you don't get confused later on. Header left, header right. Now I'm targeting top, header right. So header right itself will act as a flex container, and the items inside this will be centered vertically, and again justify content will be space between. The margin right, I want them 20 pixels from the right hand side. So there you go. Okay, so everything is aligned properly vertically. Now I'll target the button inside it that has a class of login. Remember, this class is here, and I'll set the outline to none, border to none, and a padding I'll give 10 pixels top and bottom and 28 pixels left right. Border radius, let's set it to 5 pixels to give them a nice rounded edges. The text transform I'll set to uppercase, font weight 600 to to make the text appear bolder. Font size I'll use here is 0.95 rem. So I'm using rem units. It's actually the multiple of your current body element. So current font size of your body. So if your body is 16, it will be 0.95 times of 16. That's a little bit lower than 16 actually. Okay, and for the color I'll use a value of hash FT5068, this nice crimson or red color. Save the changes. Let's see how it looks. This is the color of the text. Okay, you see it looks like this pretty much. So I'll give it a margin right, the button, so that it'll have some spacing from the adjacent hamburger icon of 40 pixels, and background color of white. Yeah, save, go back quickly. There we go, you have a nice gap here. And we also need to take care of the hover effect, so I'll use the ampersand syntax here. So this actually points to the parent, so it's equivalent of writing button.login : hover, like that. Okay, so it's a shorthand. That's the beauty of using CSS. So I'll use linear gradient here, and this time I'm going to use an angle value of 262 degrees. So you see the first is angle. I can set an angle here as well. So I'm setting that, and my RGB value, you can use RGBA or RGB both, okay, whatever you like. If you don't want the alpha to be modified, simply use RGB. So this will be the first one, and the next one is 253, 38, 125. Okay, and I'll set the cursor to pointer and the color to white and the font weight to 500. So now if I save the changes, I go back to the browser, I hover over it. Okay, looks perfect. Okay, this is the actual site. This is how it looks. Now, okay, so but now if you click here, you see this what do you call outline. Okay, we don't want that. So for that, I'm gonna go outside the button and target all the buttons with which are focused or active, focus, or button which are active. Okay, button dot active focus. If there are any buttons like this which have the active class, so outline set to none, important. Okay, so now see, okay, you don't see that outline anymore if you click it. So that fixes it. So next we will, so this concludes our header, okay, the first header, default header I think. Next is header 1. So top header 1, okay, again displays flex, justify content, space between, pretty much the same thing, align items, center vertically, width is 100%, background is white, and flex direction, this time this is the only thing that has changed here. So flex direction is column to stack everything vertically from top to bottom. I'll keep the height to auto, and a Z index of 2000. This is very important, right? To display header 1 on top of everything. Okay, if you do not set the Z index, it will not appear on top of this default header. Okay, this is how it looks now. So you see the things are taking shape slowly. Next, inside this, we go scroll down, we have this div. Let's target it, top 1. So this itself will act as a flex container, width will be full, and padding I'll give 20 pixels, and top and bottom, and 0 left right. Its position will be set to relative. Did I do it there? No, not there. Okay, and here I'm going to use a pseudo element, that's the before pseudo element, to before and after both actually, to have this design here. So click this, you see a very light border here that goes from left to right and ends here, and then goes from top to bottom. Okay, so we'll create that using these pseudo elements. So let me write the code first, and you will see how it looks. So for the pseudo elements, we always have to use the content property, and I'll use the border right here. I'll give it 1 pixel solid, and the color is E3, E4, E3, oops, 3, E3, E3. That's light gray color. Height I want for the before element 100%. So this is the vertical one. Position will be absolute, and for that reason I kept the parent as relative. Okay. From top it will be 0, and from the left I want it to be at 95%. For the after, again content is blank, nothing in it. Border bottom 1 pixel solid, same color, E3, E3, E3. And width I want to be set to 95%. Position is absolute. and bottom 0, left 0. So these are the settings that I need in order to create that effect. And if you notice here, so it's going from left, right, ending here, and then from top to bottom. Okay. Now we need to position these things. So let's target the left section. So this is my top one. Okay. I will still be inside the top one, so I'll go here. Let's say header left, top header left, margin left 20 pixels, flex 1. So when you set flex 1, you're telling the top left to occupy everything except for the portion that is occupied by the right container. Okay. So inside this I have an image. So the height I want is 55 pixels and margin left should be around 40 pixels. Next we will be targeting the header right, and this is all under the top header 1 parent container. Okay. So this is not gonna affect your actual home page, the other header you have there. Display flex, align items center, justify content space between, margin right 20 pixels. Oops. So I need to first target here, and then I need to use the properties, set it there, save it, go back. So they are placed properly. We have the logo, we have the login button, and this cross symbol. Okay. So inside the right header we have a button, the class of login, outline none. Let me copy some settings from there, from the other header here, and we'll modify as needed. Okay. So outline none, border none, padding is fine, this is fine, this is fine. Font weight I want here 550. I also want to give it a linear gradient. Okay. So I'll remove the background color, I'll put a gradient here with the same gradient that I used for the hover effect. Okay. And the cursor should be set to pointer. Color is white, not this one, and margin right should be around 60 pixels. Save the changes, go back, there you go. So you get this nice effect here. Okay. For the hover, and the hover, let's target that, and we'll simply use the color, or the background rather. Background color will be FD 5068. So we'll have a subtle hover effect here. See, like this. Next I'm targeting button that has icon button class, like give class, no. Okay, so this should have icon button, and I'm targeting the matte icon inside it. So the color should be 565656, gray color, dark gray color. Font size I want is 3 rems. Font weight should be 700, and margin right I'll set it to 20 pixels. Save the changes. There you go. Okay, looks pretty nice. Okay, so again I'm gonna copy this thing here. Where is it? Yeah, copy and put it outside the main button. This is my button or top header. So this is my button, is it? Okay. So now outside top one, so I'm outside top one, I have the main content. So this is top one ends here. Main content. So main content, margin top, I want 20 pixels, align self, flex start. So this is a property for the flex items. You can align themselves, align each flex item individually if you want to. So by doing this, everything stacks to the left. Okay. And they should have a width of 100%. Now I'll have content top will have a width of again 100%. Content will occupy the full width, and the border bottom I want 1 pixel solid E3 E3 E3. And for content bottom you have a height of 100 pixels. So content bottom is my this one, I guess. Top. Okay, I think I never used it. Alright, never mind. So we are done pretty much here. So that's the main page content. So I'll quickly go through it. Main page content, and display is flex, width is 100%. This is the home page that has the header tag and all. Okay, justify content center. So if you remember, the header occupies 10 report height, the remaining 90% is this is occupied by the main page content. Align items center vertically, flex direction column to stack vertically. Padding top I want 110 pixels. Next, targeting the h1 element. So font size I want 9 rem. Color should be white. Font weight bold. Font family I'm using here is Arial, because I don't have the font they have used. They have used Adobe fonts. I don't own them, so I can't use it. So let's stick with Arial. Margin bottom is 4 rem. Margin right is 20 pixels, and padding top is 10 pixels. Also give them a transition. All 0.2 seconds is in. So inside the header, I believe inside the header, main page content, have this span here. Okay. Oops. So So inside the header, I'll target the span tag and I'll give it a top of minus 20 pixels because I want it to go up. Position will be absolute, of course. Font size little bit small, 6 rems, and font weight normal, of course, and margin to the left of 10 pixels. So we'll have some gap. Now we have the button create account. I'll copy that code from here, from my notes, because it's almost the same thing that we created on the top. Okay, that's the button with the hover effect. And that is it. And we'll also create the W90. So this is nothing, just the width of 90%. So little important. And also I'm gonna style the elements inside the 4 column layouts. We have a 4 column layout here. So I'm just targeting the class call MD3, and inside that I'm gonna put some code from my note. Okay, save the changes, go back, there you have. Okay, well, ideally it should go on top here. Let's see why that's not happening. Did I miss any classes? So we put a top property here, top 0. There you go, perfect. Okay, and now we need to work on the click events. Okay, so first of all, the first click will be on the hamburger icon, menu icon. Okay, toggle header 1. Okay, this is a function name I created inside my app component.ts file. I'll implement on init interface, and I'll define a variable show header 1 of type boolean, and in my on init, that's my class or method that is called whenever this component gets initialized. I'll set the show header to false, and if you remember, we have used ng containers, so the default one I'll use the ng if structure directive. I only want this to be shown when the show header 1 is false. Similarly, I'll copy this code from here, and the only reason I'm using Angular is to show you this dynamic effect. You can use jQuery or JavaScript to do this, and you don't need to use Angular, but this is much more convenient to me. So sorry. So if you click this button again, this will be doing the same thing. Okay, we'll toggle the header, and by toggle header means what we want this show header to be equivalent of its negative value. Okay, save the changes, go back. So the header is hidden. You have this nice text, nice create account button here that does nothing as of now. You click this, it goes to this page, this header. You click this, it goes away. And I think we need to make it a bit larger. That's not an issue. So I'll set a font size here in line to my markup. So where I set it to white, I'll use another one, font size 2.5 rems. That will make it bigger. Now click, it appears, everything stacks up properly. Okay. And you see I don't have that bottom section because I told you to avoid any copyright infringements. So I'll keep it as it is. Close this. Now we need the last part, which is the modal. Okay, so for that I'll need to inject my modal service. Okay, so I'll inject dialog to mat dialog. Here, make sure you import it from the Angular material dialog file. And so when you click here on the login button, I'll give it a method named login, right? And you can name it anything you want. So I'll create a dialog ref variable as a reference to the dialog. So using the test.dialog here, this is my service that I injected, and it has a method called open. So it takes the name of the component and some configuration options if you want to pass. So in our case, I will be passing in the width of the container, that will be 500 pixels, and with a comma the height, it will be 550 pixels in our case. That's it. So this dialog does nothing. Okay, just display you the data from the login component. Save the changes, go back, create account. Something went wrong. Let's see here. Okay, so this button works. I need to hook the method here to the create account button. So login, then go down, main page content, create account, click event, login, save changes, go back, click, there we go. And this is just an image. Like I said, this is not a button, so you can't do anything here, but the final product looks pretty decent and similar to what you have here. And these are the actual links on the actual page, but in our case these are just a dummy placeholder. Okay, so with this I finished the tutorial series. It's over 30 minutes now. I did not expect this video to go this long, but it has, so let's live with it. So I'm going to end this video now, and this will conclude the tutorial series. I hope you have learned something new out of it, and please leave your feedback, comments in the comment sections, and you will get the code for this part 3 in my GitHub repo. I'll share the repo link in the description of this video. Okay, till then, enjoy the series, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like the video, and share it with your friends. I'll see you in the next video tutorial series. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye bye.